Steve, you've had a few days to reflect now on the Kennington game, and it's sort of stating the obvious, but you can't be very pleased with it, really.
No, definitely not very pleased. For reasons outside of my control, we're a little bit delayed with our post-match reflection. That isn't me being hiding, but in truth, it's probably a good thing that I've had a bit of time.
Oh, don't worry, that was me. That was me.
But it was AA. We'll blame it on automotive problems, but it was probably just as well. I've had a little bit of time to put some distance between me and that performance. Just thinking time. Been through the ringer really in terms of trying to get my head around what happened. But as you rightly say, the result was not good enough. But within the result, there was that absolutely chaotic 10 minutes. That's very hard still now to give an explanation.
Yeah, because that's the thing, if the game had stopped at 70 minutes, everybody would be happy because you started well, you cruised at 2-0 up. And so, what was going right at that stage? Because, for 70 minutes, you had a good game.
I mean,
what was working?
Yeah, we coming into the game, we had a look at what went well and what didn't go so well against VCD. We made 3 little changes, which we felt we could learn from what we didn't quite get right at VCD. Felt Kennington wouldn't be totally dissimilar, another good pitch to play on, and felt they were going to try and play relatively similar. Yeah, and as you say, first half particularly, we played some really good stuff. Wasn't total control. Kennington had a couple of half chances, but on the whole, with very good value for the 2-0 lead. Played some very, very good football. Half-time team talk was really just next goal's going to be vital. Don't get complacent. Risk v reward. We were trying to keep the ball more than maybe we do sometimes, but we felt a particular situation warranted that. And even the start of the second half, for the first 10 minutes, we didn't start particularly well, but nothing major came of it. And we then grew into it, and we actually had a couple of good chances. We had one very good chance, which 3-0 probably pops their bubble, truthfully. Their side a little bit weak, a little bit low on confidence, but we didn't. That happens. You still got to stay strong and resolute. Then almost out of nowhere, they pulled one back from an area that we did highlight at half time was probably the most likely. We felt just around the edge of the box. They were just starting to they had a couple of sighters from sort of 20-25 yards, and we did say we've got to protect that area very well. We weren't able to. We let them back in the game, and then, do you know what? It just felt like, boxing analogy, we've got caught, our legs are wobbling, and rather than covering up, we've just stuck our chin out and absolute crazy 9 minutes.
I think that's right, because how do you concede 4 goals in 9 minutes? It's just, you can call it a disaster, you can say what you want, but it's just, it's baffling.
Yeah.
How that happens, because you've got experience in the team, players who should be able to manage it, and yet we're still, struggling. Have you any feedback from the players themselves about why it happened?
I think a lot of them are shell-shocked, which, I don't think there is a clear explanation, if I'm honest. It was a scenario where the tide turned against us in terms of momentum, and somebody or someone's just needed to, stop the train from crashing, and unfortunately no one did, and that's disappointing. We're all disappointed, I was trying to warm subs up to almost, maybe freshen it up, but it literally was so quick. I think you'd struggle to let goals in that period of time if you tried. So, wow. If everyone, I don't think anyone can give a clear explanation. The truth is, Kennington got the momentum, they turned the heat up on us, and we melted.
Yeah, and I think it's frustrating for no one's particular fault. We didn't have the new VO there, so you can't even look at the game. So you're going to have to do anything from memory.
Yeah.
Which is going to make it hard.
Much as I don't want to watch it back, certainly not for entertainment, from the point of view of really crystallising in my mind what happened, not being able to watch it denies me that opportunity. So to give a bit more clarity and explanation to see if there was anything I can miss. 'Cause I'll be honest, I can't even remember us kicking off 3 times in that spot. We obviously did, but it was almost like, it was like watching a train crash and not being able to do anything about
the
it.
weird thing is that our last conversation was like, actually we showed up to the back, and we're not conceding that many goals, our problem is scoring goals.
Yeah, well there you go.
You know, we've had, people say, we've had claps before, but those 2 claps were much earlier in the season, were slightly different.
Agree. People will speculate, is it because they're not fit enough? Well, the goals came between 60 and 70 minutes. We then got back on top for the last 20, scored, hit the crossbar. So I don't personally take that on board. As you say, we've seen this all before. They did it against Uxbridge, they did it against Glebe. Well, completely different context, completely different 11 on the pitch. However, the fact is that in the time that I've overseen Tunbridge Wells Football Club, we have lost winning positions more times than I'd like to have on my CV. That's the truth, but got to own that. Can't hide from it. We know it's an unforgiving league. We know that if you don't slam the door in people's faces, there's always a chance they're going to come and slap you around the face, and that's what's happened. Yeah,
because the other thing people ask is, it's like whenever, put aside the handing wins to the teams, whenever we concede a goal, there seems to be this panic in the place that they all sit back and invite teams on for a while. And to be honest, we'd sort of done that a couple of times, but we've sort of put, again, that was another thing we seem to have put to bed a bit.
Agreed.
And it's all come back again.
How far back do you go? I mean, in the last 6 or 7 games, we haven't looked like letting in goals. So it's reasonable to say we've resolved. We're talking about stuff that happened against Glebe and Uxbridge. Well, that was the first 4 weeks of the season. We're in December now, so in our recent half a dozen games, letting in goals has not been a major issue to us. It's actually been scoring that's been the problem. So that almost makes it harder. You look for patterns, you look for similarities, but sometimes you just have to say that's down to mental toughness, really. And again, I think the boys have been resolute at times. VCD put us under the cosh a little bit. We kept our clean sheet. Glebe put us under the cosh a little bit at the Culverden a few weeks ago. We kept our clean sheet. We beat them 2-0. Snodland had us under the cosh a little bit. We kept our clean sheet. So I don't think there's a pattern that this side right now do just fold. But on that day, when the heat was turned up, nobody was able to stop us melting. I've got to take responsibility. The boys have to take responsibility. If that starts becoming a pattern, then everyone's quite right to come at us and say that ain't good enough. I'll take that on board.
Because it makes it hard because you've got training Thursday.
Yes.
But it's how do you work on that in training? What do you do in training, I guess, just to set yourself up for the weekend?
I don't think you can work on that particular element because it's more of a mental thing than a tactical thing.
Yeah.
I think we've got to look each other's in the eye and we've got to say, look, there's some big games coming and we cannot be exhibiting those sort of qualities as human beings or as a team because we will get punished. See what happens. We've got to learn from that bitter taste that we've all still got in our mouth, and that's got to be our motivation to not let it happen again.
Yeah, maybe it's training. You can actually train. You sit down and talk them almost.
We'll talk about it briefly. We'll talk about it, but time's limited. I don't want to waste the limited period I have discussing it. I think really we've got to put it out of our minds, make sure it never happens again. If we don't see a group of people, including myself on Saturday, that are desperate to show that ain't a badge we want to wear, then we've all got problems, haven't we?
Yeah, because I think that's it. You just got to put it to the side now and say, it went disastrously wrong. I'll try and put it right, and you move on.
Yeah.
If you keep that hanging on you, the team's never going to progress. So, if you do that, then so what after that becomes a realistic sort of expectation given where the team is, but also the club as well. Where could the realistic expectations of what objectives are we going to hit?
I think at this exact moment in time, our league form has not been good enough. Actually, when you think we've had a couple of cup wins in the last 6 games, that to a point, it actually means we're not in horrendous overall form, But the league, we need to get some wins under our belt. We need to get some points on the table. I sat in front of you last week. I said there was 6 up for grabs. We only took 1. That's quite clearly not good enough. We need to get some points on the board so that we're looking up rather than looking over our shoulder a little bit nervously.
Yeah.
I don't feel we're dragged into any sort of relegation scrap yet, but you can't be complacent. We saw that in 10 minutes. That on a bigger picture, you can't start getting complacent saying, oh, we're not involved in a scrap, because you'll get sucked in. So we need this team to find their level, and their level is higher up the table than where we are right now.
Yeah, so I mean that level to me is a case of we can still have a crack at the playoffs, long shot, but we can still have a crack players, or maybe it's realistically 7th or 8th, given where we are. That would be a good performance, given all the other crap that's gone on.
I just want to concentrate on performing in a 90-minute period, because I want us to represent ourselves the best we can every time we come on the pitch, because I genuinely do not think there's anyone we need to be scared of in this league on a one-off occasion. We're never far off, but we've got to now start putting aside these fine margin sob stories, and we've got to start getting on the right end, which I do think comes down to a little bit of mentality, a little bit of resilience, and a little bit of people being prepared to put their hearts and other parts of their anatomy on the line and getting the points on the board.
Yeah, because I think
we've still got a cup quarter final to look forward to, which again is going to be a tough game, but why not? Why should we be scared of anyone if we turn up and do ourselves justice?
Yeah, because I think you've got the players there. If you can get their heads in the right place, we should do all right.
Agree. And I mean, how many times have their heads been in the wrong place? It's the odd occasion, like as I say, there's been some good performances in the last month. It's not like you've got to go back to September to remember the last time we played well. It is just, from my perspective, it's just a flipping roller coaster, and I could do without that, to be honest. Yeah. I could do with a little bit of flatline for a few.
Well, that game was a roller coaster, because like you say, stop at 70 minutes, we're happy.
Yeah, but
so it's like, so if you take that forward, then I mean you've got a chance against this Saturday against Corinthians. But boy, that's not going to be the easy one you wanted, is it really?
I don't know what the easy one would be, to be honest, Will. The sides down the bottom are scrapping, the sides up the top are pushing, the sides in and around mid-table are looking at trying to make the playoffs. It's a tough, unforgiving league, and nothing's easy. But if our mentality's right, and if we perform anywhere near our optimum, there's no way Corinthians are going to be looking at it going, that's an easy one. They shouldn't be, because if we turn up, I don't care who it is, they're not going to get an easy game against us.
Yeah, fingers crossed that's what happens. We get the result on Saturday then.
Oh yeah, that's exactly what we're aiming for.
Brilliant. Cheers.